Good morning, everyone. My name's Don Stacy, and I'll continue reading from my collection of science fiction stories, Tales of the Bizarre and Unnatural. This next one is titled The Instructor. Across the land, there arose a rumor of an individual who had acquired a certain notoriety. He had fashioned a new system of thinking, which would bring a delusional delight to his practitioners, as well as increase their ability to recall whatever one wished, page of a book, conversation heard in a lobby. In point of fact, his technique one put into use as a portion of the curriculum at the public schools had in actuality resulted in an inexplicably high percentage of 18-year-olds who now have photographic memories. The school district in which this system of learning was tested and patented was Pullman, Washington, an ideal location for this sort of study. Pullman is a small university town, and over the years many educational theories were deployed and studied there. But these techniques had been known for thousands of years by men of spiritual discipline. They trained themselves to remember whatever they had studied carefully, remember any passage they wished word for word. The flow of words was a product of time, but could still be fully enclosed. No one's remarks could ever be forgotten. We need this technique especially now in an age when truth and reason are brazenly trivialized and disregarded. People do not want to know of themselves that very little in the world would make any sense except the Bible. Yet we live in a highly specialized world which is now consuming our information. Amazon and Google translating browser habits into waves of probability, which they sell to advertisers. Well, some might say, what if they do? And some might well ask, who spend little time on a personal computer. During roughly the last 50 years, the technosphere has developed its most recent layers supported by the personal computer and its miniaturization. This very recent development of the smartphone has infused society with a manufactured sense of connection. The formation of personal and professional bonds in adulthood have transformed from meeting in person at an office or a restaurant to meeting during a teleconference where attendees must jostle for a screen appearance if more than 4 people are involved. And now, due to the coronavirus pandemic, we have even more reasons to forgo a face-to-face meeting. But I'm not here to engage in a current study of social history. My purpose is to give you, the reader, a very thorough understanding of these methods developed by Miguel Rodriguez Adjurno. Miguel Adjurno studied ancient Hindu texts from the time he was 17. He read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. From these ancient texts and other sources, Miguel developed his own powers of memory, far beyond ordinary experience. He could spend 3 hours reading a Shakespeare play, and when he was done, know every role by heart. He could glance at a series of involved mathematical equations and then write them down in a flawless replica. He was able to sit in a restaurant adjacent to a table of 4 and remember their 2-hour conversation verbatim. After collaborating with a graduate student working on her PhD in psychology, Adjurno proved that the success of these techniques in a longitudinal study which covered a span of 12 years. 1/2 of the class of roughly 200 were taught the techniques Adjurno had developed. The outcome was little short of astonishing. 7 out of every 10 of those who learned these techniques developed photographic memories. This academic research came to the attention of a senator in the Armed Services Committee, Woodrow Paxton, a Republican from Tennessee. Hearings were held. Adjurno was invited to present his work and testify. Clearly, these techniques had military value and had to be kept under wraps, and so these sessions were closed to the public. But an unredacted transcript was released to the press, a document which was immediately classified and deemed to be accessible to only the highest levels of government. When this transcript was published in full in the New York Times, a firestorm of public opinion ensued, drawing both praise and denunciation from every quarter. Woodrow Paxton convened a press conference and denounced the leak as a reckless left-wing disregard for national security. We have now, or probably will have in the future, a whole generation of geniuses, of people who regard themselves as exceptional beings capable of incisive analysis. They won't wish to be told by their favorite president whatever he wants them to believe. Nothing, not the most convoluted ploy of dishonesty, will escape their enhanced ability to see the truth. The course of American democracy is now in more danger than ever, when the young can see so clearly and hear every false note in a politician's speech. The bludgeoning of truth will no longer be possible. It remained unclear who Paxton was trying to convince, his constituents or his political opponents. In any event, word quickly spread, and to both his chagrin and delight, Miguel Rodriguez Adjurno became a regular on the celebrity circuit, making occasional guest appearances on late-night talk shows. He was often asked what it felt like. What was the experience of having a photographic memory? Well, you see, we all absorb a great deal of uninformative rubbish over the course of our lives. What I found is that I was compelled to select what would remain and what would pass out of existence by ignoring it. In most people, this happens immediately at an unconscious level. Direct personal experience with others claims all their attention, and remembering what people say becomes a vital ability. These skills are not easily obtained. Indeed. A man or woman's claim that he or she never forgets a face is a quite unremarkable claim, since vision is the primary sense in human experience. Never forgetting a name, now that would be something. That would be an accomplishment. That's auditory experience, and auditory experience, I would say for most people, is far more difficult to recall as it happened at the time. Okay, of course Adjurno himself has openly admitted that his social skills seem at best antiquated, and at worst non-existent. The settings are most important, and sometimes we have a freshman congressman from Washington State, former pharmacist with his home in Spokane, but you have to ask yourself, what type of people can even do this job? Foremost, this person must be genuinely committed to an informed and educated understanding of the common good. During a recent interview on one of these late-night talk shows, he was asked which natural phenomenon he preferred most to listen to, and he replied, a rainfall without the faintest wind, the steady patter of millions of drops across the roof of the house, not a single human voice, just the endless, implacable rain, almost like a curtain of protection against suggestions of criminal intent or common gossip. Several minutes later, during that same broadcast, he was asked what he thought of President Trump. Far more pervasive concern should be why people support him, Adjurno said. These people support Trump for many different reasons. Some of the more racist who fear and despise Hispanics and African Americans, successful businessmen who know Republican lawmakers will support their interess, and a broad swath of people guided by the moral precepts of the Bible. All these people know that Trump is a foul, ill-tempered fool, but he does their bidding. Then the man went on to say, during the year of the coronavirus, several deficiencies, not only in Trump's, but certain basic structures of American government have become clear to people. The willful libertarian streak in American politics has to be thwarted at every opportunity. The voices of the radio airwaves should become more numerous and diverse. The stultifications from religious thought are not so easily shrugged off. This world moving forward, this world coming into view, you can see a uniform distribution of rights as the final common good. But this is merely an idealization, just as all laws aim toward an idealization of human behavior. Following the course of his rocketing fame, Miguel Adjurno also drew a large set of detractors. Comments on social media platforms erupted, some claiming Adjurno was the Antichrist and had to be destroyed. Perhaps then it is not surprising that one day, when he had taken a walk from his home to a nearby park, he was shot by whom several witnesses claimed to be a single passing motorist.